Greetings and welcome to you, my brave citizens of our new world. I'm Toronto's greatest supervillain and evil genius, Dr. Terawatt. This is our layer 3.1, and you're watching The Warfront. I don't care about your messages. No, actually, I do, but that is the feeling, right? Like, as human beings, much more governed by our emotions than logic, we do tend to get caught up in that very simple trap that somebody who's not responding to us in an amount of time that we deem necessary or appropriate or acceptable is ignoring us intentionally. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Understand that people just get busy sometimes, or maybe they put their phone down because they're in the other room watching Netflix or something like that. Who knows? Fallen down some kind of hole on YouTube about Dungeons and Dragons memes. I don't know. They don't just sit there looking at the icon on their phone that says they have a message and just laugh at you. And most people obviously understand what those little icons on the Facebook Messenger service mean, but just in case, here's a quick refresher. So this means that the message has been sent, this means that the message has been received, and not necessarily that they've been notified, but that the message has been received, and then this icon indicates that yes, so-and-so has read your message. I remember back in my day, when we all used MSN Messenger to chat. It was considered that when you were online, that you were active and could chat, or at least that was the social norm. Some people would just log in and just leave it on and walk away from their computer, and you never know if they read your message or not, and you just sat there like... But when you were talking to someone and you needed to go to bed, or you needed to go eat dinner, or just leave your computer for whatever reason, you let the person that you were talking to know. Like, hey, I gotta go to bed right now, night. And then you put yourself on away, or you just logged off altogether. The reason that I'm talking about this right now is because that's how people I found are treating Facebook Messenger and text messaging and other similar services today. And I personally feel that that's no longer the norm. Like, these days, I check my messages like this. Okay, screen's off. There. And I usually won't get back to it for another hour or so that I can get some work done. I'll just leave it face down on the desk. And I have people who are moderators on Twitch and other parts of our evil organization who have my personal number and can call me in the event of an emergency that does need my attention somewhere else. I'm a busy villain. It's a full-time career in the realist sense, and I understand that that may not be the case for everybody, but I feel that it should be treated as such. People have lives, and that's okay. Sometimes folks are busy and can't get back to you for a bit. Sometimes they have nothing going on and they'd love to have lengthy text conversations with you. Both are valid. As an easy rule of thumb, the personal sort of guidelines that I use, I treat messaging and Facebook messaging and other similar services like email. If this is a person you regularly correspond with, you can expect them to get back to you in a few minutes or hours, depending on if they're busy and how close your relationship with them is. And depending on how close you are, you can usually leave 24 to 48 hours before sending a follow-up message. Maybe they read your message and simply forgot to respond. That happens. And if a person doesn't respond to you as fast as you'd like, or you think that there's too long between messages and responses regularly, then you might need to personally reevaluate your relationship with that individual. Maybe you're just not as close as you thought you were, and that's okay. Take the time at that moment to make note of where you kind of think you are now on their ladder of priorities and friends, and either get comfortable or work on slowly improving that relationship over time. Remember that with any of this, communication with the other person is key. If you feel like they're not getting back to you fast enough, or you're worried about the frequency of their response, find a mature and calm way of communicating that with the individual. And then if you are a person who's receiving one of those messages, try to find a mature and calm way of communicating back to the other person that, you know, you either were away or you just don't check your messages that often. And if it doesn't seem to be changing how close you are with this other individual, then chill. Just relax. You can't be friends with everybody, and everybody isn't going to like you. That's normal. That's okay. I've had people that I've reached out to saying, hey, I think you're a really interesting person. I'd like to be better friends with you, or talk to you more, be closer, hang out maybe. And they've gotten back to me with either they're too busy, or they're not in a place where they can really do that, or they're not interested. And that's okay. That being said, if you are the kind of person who does read a message and then intentionally doesn't respond because you want to see how long it'll be before that other person messages you back and what they'll say when they do, then you are an objectively bad person. Anyway, that is all I kind of wanted to get into today for our first Warfront. Just a little sort of educational video talking about etiquette with online messaging and whatnot, because I do get a lot of messages from people who I want to get back to sooner. Like, sometimes I won't be checking the messages I get on our Facebook page for myself or for Evil Incorporated as a whole, and maybe I missed that message by like a few weeks or even months in some cases. There's a lot of messages on Patreon that I still need to get back to, and I'm sure a bunch of messages on other platforms that I need to get to as soon as I can, and I just remind people, like, thank you for being patient with me while I'm trying to juggle a lot of things here at once. But yeah, so overall, really the only thing I can say is just communicate, be clear, be patient, be mature, and hopefully things will work out. So until next time, my brave citizens, I'm Toronto's greatest supervillain and evil genius, Dr. Terawatt. This is our Layer 3.1, and I'll see you on the Warfront. End of line.